Hey y'all, there were no movies I found interesting enough to go see recently, so I finished up the first series of a trio of new shows. Here's my first impression of them. Another Life is on Netflix. It stars Katie Sackhoff, Samuel Anderson, and Justin Chatwin, as well as others. But I've seen these characters on other programs and really enjoyed their work. That's why I remember those three really. Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica and Longmire, and that terrible British villain she had on the accent with that horrible accent.
Did you start a fight? Honestly, Norvark. It's why you're my third favorite henchman.
Samuel Anderson was Danny Pink on Doctor Who, and Justin Chatwin was also on Doctor Who. I think he was Mysterio in that Christmas special, and Orphan Black. He was also Goku in that Dragon Ball movie, which was unfortunate for him. But he bounced back pretty well from that. What I'm saying is these folks are talented and their acting chops are what saved this first season of the space sci-fi adventure. I'm not sure what it is. The pilot episode has an alien artifact landing on Earth, humans' first exposure to alien tech, and this artifact matched a beacon from a planet, way out in space. Naturally, people want to study it. Katie Sackhoff's Nico is a ship commander who's married to Justin Chatwin's Eric, an astrophysicist or something, and they have a daughter. So Nico has to go track down the beacon, and he has to stay on Earth and figure out how to communicate with it. So she basically has to be the explorer, and he has to stay home and be the parent. Nice setup, cool premise. But then over the next 9 episodes, the show didn't seem to have a specific direction it was taking. Sci-fi tropes take place on a spaceship, like an insubordinate, resentful crew member leads a mutiny. The ship suffers mechanical and life support problems. The system's AI, which is called William, which is Samuel Anderson's character, creates its own friend. The ship is invaded by a mind-controlling entity and many more. And then sci-fi tropes on Earth are like the brilliant scientist cautions against, attacking the alien, but the government doesn't want to listen to him. There's a journalist who will do anything to expose, the story. The alien announces itself to the world as being just wanting to be friend zoning everyone, but we the viewer just watch it destroy a planet. All of these tropes aren't a big deal and can help tell the story, but I don't know what the story is. Is it about the crew's evolving relationships and surviving the dangers of space? Or is it about humanity's curiosity and making contact with another life? Or its penchant to see everything it doesn't understand as a threat? Is it about an alien species attempt to take over Earth, forcing the entire human population to finally band together and fight as one? I don't know. I do know though, there are very noticeable awkward zoom-in shots, and where there was music, the choice of music was very strange. The show seems to be going nowhere, and I'm really not too interested in seeing a second season. The second season I am intrigued by is the second season of Warrior. See what that'll bring. It's on Cinemax, and it was executive produced / created by Jonathan Tropper, who was behind another Cinemax show called Banshee, really good one. Justin Lin, everything horror, WB, Fast and Furious 7, and Aquaman. And then Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter. The show is based on Bruce Lee's writings and stars Andrew Koji, Diane Doan, and Jason Tobin. Other than Andrew Koji, whom I saw briefly in season 2 of American Gods, the only other actor I knew was Hoon Lee, because he was in Banshee, had a major role in there. I was able to see what story Warrior was trying to tell right from the beginning. It takes place in the late 1800s in San Francisco, during the time the railroads were being built and many Chinese immigrants made their way to the US in search of work. Andrew Koji plays Assam, a new arrival who's come looking for his sister, Mai Ling, who's played by Diane Doan. The atmosphere towards the immigrants, in the country was very negative, with Americans treating them as less than human when they got off the boat, and police sort of keeping them penned into their own area in the city. We all know them as Chinatown. So it's like nothing's really changed. Anyway, Assam immediately gets into trouble with the law when he defends a fellow traveler against a policeman's beating by showcasing his martial arts skills and beating up the policeman, basically. Wang Chao, who's played by Hoon Lee, is able to speak English and is sort of a bargainer / deal maker who diffuses the situation and apologizes for the newbie. Now, Wang Chao sees potential in Andrew Koji's character and hooks him up with Young Jun, played by Jason Tobin, who is the son of Father Jun, the leader of the most powerful Tong, basically a mob organization in Chinatown. Over the course of the next 11 episodes, Assam saw firsthand how unfair the American justice system was to the Chinese. He fell in love with the mayor's wife, and he learned his sister, Mai Ling, was the leader of a rival Tong and had renewed a war that was under a peace treaty. So Every aspect of the show's environments and costume design looks so authentic while incorporating historical events like the actual 70-year-long Tong Wars, the aftermath of the Opium Wars, which played a major role in the mass immigration influx from China, and America's racist animus toward foreigners in a story of a man looking for something to fight for. And by the end of the first season, Assam has found that something, and I want to see where it goes in season 2. And finally, The Boys. The Boys is so good, and I'm surprised it didn't get more buzz than it did when it came out. The Boys is an Amazon Prime show, and it's produced by Garth Ennis, who wrote and co-created the comic books the show is based on, and Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who executive produced Future Man and Preacher, with Preacher being another show that is based on Garth Ennis's comic book. So The Boys stars Karl Urban from Star Trek movies, but I like him better as the rebooted Judge Dredd. I totally love that. It also stars Anthony Starr from Banshee, Erin Moriarty from Jessica Jones, and Jack Quaid from the first and second Hunger Games movies. So imagine if the Justice League, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, etc., was a team managed by a corporation. They had their missions picked by a legal department, their costumes and their catchphrases were created by a marketing team. They made money off of their movies and TV shows and merchandise, and that contained their likenesses, and they had to be conscious about their social media presence and popularity and their branding, because if they're not popular, then they get cut off the team. Now imagine that these same heroes didn't feel like saving people, or they committed crimes against people and then covered it up.
I heard what happened to Robin. You ain't alone, son. Soups lose hundreds of people each year to collateral damage. I can't stop.
Robin! Who would hold them accountable for their actions? You know what I mean? No one would. So in this show, Karl Urban's Billy Butcher leads a team of regular people to do just that, or at least to try. Now, he's extra motivated to take down the Seven because of what their most powerful member, Homelander, who is played by Anthony Starr, did to his wife. Jack Quaid's Hugh Campbell saw his girlfriend literally vaporize in front of him when one of the Seven, A-Train, played by Jesse T. Usher, ran through her because he was too high on drugs to control his speed. Starlight, played by Erin Moriarty, is a hometown girl who recently got accepted to join the Seven since a spot was freed when a former member, Lamplighter, left for, let's say, unspecified reasons. I can't praise this show enough and therefore won't give too much away about the plot, but watching it made me think of Warren Ellis's loosely connected superhero trilogy, Black Summer, No Hero, and Super God, which dealt with what life would be like for normal people living in a world of people with powers that can literally destroy the planet. It's scary stuff. And Homelander, in my opinion, is especially a frightening figure. DC had depicted an authoritarian Superman before in Red Son, Injustice, and as a Justice Lord from the Justice League cartoon, but he had other superheroes and or the US government combating him in each instance. There's nothing like that here. It's just regular people, and it's whew. The show is only 8 episodes long, but it's 8 solid episodes of storytelling, amazing special effects, for a streaming show, and great performances for the most part. If you're tired of Disney Marvel, and I always have to specify and make that distinction because Marvel made the R-rated Blade movies and Disney probably won't. So if you're tired of Disney Marvel's PG-13 joke fest and WBDC's half-hearted grown-up superheroes, then you won't be disappointed by The Boys. Season 2 is currently under development, and I can't wait to see what goes on with it. So those are my thoughts, real quick on Another Life, Warrior, and The Boys. Let me know what you've thought of the shows if you saw them. If you haven't, definitely watch The Boys. And if you're a martial arts fan or you like period pieces, check out The Warrior. I can't recommend Another Life, but if you've seen it and maybe you understand what's going on with it, let me know. Maybe I missed something. Looks like another week of sorry movies coming out of Hollywood, so I'm gonna continue watching season 1 of this Star Trek Discovery. I'm halfway through it, and so far I am loving it. It is definitely a better prequel than Enterprise, which is saying quite, well, I guess I'm not really saying much. So that's it. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Have fun. Ciao.